And as always, uh, I'll let her introduce herself. Ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
So,
So please introduce yourself.
okay, my name is Buhle Mashangu, and I am the founder of LEC Catering.
Mm.
Yes,
Owner of LEC Catering.
correct.
So, but when did it start? Where did the entrepreneur bug start? Because there must be the beginning to this thing.
Okay, let's think. I've always been entrepreneurial
Yeah.
from primary school. We can start there. Um, you won't believe this, but I was selling ice pops. It's so crazy. Primary school, I remember there was like I was staying in Limpopo by my granny. So the yards there are usually big yards. They are big yards, what I mean. And then at the back we had this huge field where the boys were playing. And I saw them. I'm like, these people need hydration. And I started selling ice pops to them. So I was like, hey, there's juice in the house. I'm gonna make ice pops. My granny was not happy about me using her juice to make ice pops. But the long and short of it, I think that's when I look back, that's where I think I've always it's like they say entrepreneurs are born.
Yeah.
I think I saw a problem and I came with a solution, and my ice pops were flying up until that field was utilized to build houses. But yeah, that's where the entrepreneurship spirit started, I guess, because through high school I've always made a plan to sell something to have extra money. And the vision of the LEC catering started back in 2015,
Mm.
that far back. And I was just getting, I think where I saw the need for it is that when I go to funerals, especially in the townships, in Makaya, I would just get, I'll question the quality of the food, the hygiene of the food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a market here. And literally, that's when 2015, I came up with the name LEC Catering, and I started running concepts. Yeah.
So why not 9 to 5 like any other person? Because I mean, we all, when we graduate or finish high school, we try and get a job, and then you decided entrepreneurship. Why not a 9 to 5?
The reason for me, why not 9 to 5? I think, um, I'm too passionate about change. I'm too passionate about control, being in charge, just making a difference. And 9 to 5, you start from what? Apprenticeship or whatever, internships, and then you grow from there. So I think I was just getting frustrated with that whole process. And I was like, but I can make my own change and just empowering people. And yeah, I'm not, I love making change. I love making a direct difference into people's life. And I felt like 9 to 5 was definitely not going to make me achieve that.
And many of us, we study things that most of the time influenced by parents. Did you
True.
study anything in catering, or you had to start somewhere before you went to catering? How was your journey in terms of education?
My first love was engineering. I did electrical engineering,
Yeah.
and I think later on ventured into the safety of it. I never even worked in the field. Funny enough, I never did. I never did. I think right after that, I struggled to get an internship or an apprenticeship. And I said to myself, you know what? While we're struggling, I got myself an admin job, and quickly from I was doing sales admin. Quickly
Yeah.
from there, I went into I was loving sales, and that's where obviously now that entrepreneur in me started now becoming hungry. So education wise, in terms of the food business, I empowered myself by getting into what you guys call them, incubators, food technology incubators, just to have the knowledge of food itself. And yeah, I empowered myself. I did a few short courses into that, few chef courses, just to know exactly what I'm selling to
Yeah.
people. Yes.
And how difficult was it to switch from being an electrical engineer to an admin? Because I know, as you know, you graduate, you got this
Yeah.
ego. I've got a degree. I've got this. How important is it to forget about the degree after graduating and go after your dream?
I think the passion and the drive, because like if you can ask me, I was laughing because of the other day I actually found my qualifications and I'm like, oh, I forgot these things exist. Um Honestly speaking, it's the drive. I think I felt like that field wasn't for me. The idea, obviously, after matric was that it's the field that's making the most money and
Yeah,
it needs women. But with my personality, with the type of person that I am, or the things that I want to build for myself, it didn't align with me, and so you forget about it. You forget of now and again you do whip it out like, hey guys, I did go to school,
yeah.
but you do forget about it and you chase after your passion.
And how did you manage to like raise the money to fund LAC catering? Did you get a
Um,
funding
yes,
or
I did
yeah,
definitely, and I will not lie about it. So I'm a go getter.
yeah,
I fight. You know, if I hear there's an institution or a government parastatal or whatever that is helping young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, I will go there. I will call almost every day. And that's the case with me. My first equipment, funny enough, I got them from NYDA. I got a
yeah,
fund worth, I think it was worth 50,000 Rand, which I still have some of the stuff.
yeah.
My first plates, pots, gas stove, few Bain Maries, I think five of them. I got them from NYDA, and it was a great start because I was operating from my dad's garage, and I needed equipment.
Yeah.
So, my parents were just getting tired of me utilizing their things for my things, and I was just damaging them.
And they were not invoicing you.
No, I never got invoiced, but they kept on reminding me that
Yeah.
if this vision of mine becomes a success, there will definitely come a hefty invoice on that. But yeah, so definitely, I did get funding to
Le-
start, and I chased after. I became, I dreamt, and I put action into my dreams. Actually, I started very very small from a garage doing platters, doing meeting caterers for 10 people, and yeah, that's where I started, and I just kept on fighting. I kept on fighting. I think 8 months later, I went out of my dad's garage and I got myself a little container
Mm.
because they were just getting tired of me. Yeah.
And how important or what are some of the character traits that you need? Because I mean, you can get a huge amount as funding and
Mm.
misuse it, or not even use it for what you is intended for. What was some of the character traits that helped you, use it properly?
I think discipline is the first one. You need discipline when you're an entrepreneur. You need resilience. You literally need to be very resilient
Yeah,
in terms of the journey that you take as an entrepreneur. I think those are my top two. Discipline and having resilience, because of there's a lot that happens in the entrepreneur world, especially when you're starting from zero
yeah.
and you want to, whatever you make, you also want to fund your life. At the same time, you need to let the business grow. So you need to have a fighting spirit, honestly speaking. But also that must go concurrently with your discipline as well, financial discipline,
Yeah.
and just obviously, yeah, I think, yeah, resilience and discipline.
And what are some of your challenges that you're facing currently?
Currently, do we
Yeah.
have challenges?
You should.
I do, but I'm such an optimist that I don't even think of my
Or
problems.
maybe objectives or aims.
Let's think of challenges, because we I don't want to paint that picture that it's easy in
Yeah.
the business world, and the biggest challenge I would say I would have, truly in my field of catering, the biggest challenge would be what? I think every entrepreneur has a cash flow problem, so I no longer see it as a challenge. So we make do with that. I think finding the people that are aligned with the business vision and the business mission, mission statement and the core values of the business. Actually, I think I have a vision and the values of the business, and just translating that to people sometimes is difficult. Sometimes it's very difficult to translate that to people, and I think that's my biggest challenge, having my employees align with my vision as well as the core values of the business. I think that's the biggest challenge. Everything else is a day-to-day challenge that I've gotten used to, and I no longer see them as challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that in common. People are
Mm,
always, I don't want to say a problem, but a challenge to get the right people.
yes.
So, but what are some of the things that you look for to ensure that you have the right people in your team?
Right now, I'm very strict on references. I'm very strict on they call it onboarding training,
Yeah.
where we I make sure that you identify yourself with the company policies, because I have recently put in strict policies that are in line with our company's operations. So I make sure that you are in line with that. You get a questionnaire, because we do give you the policies, operational policies, whatever policies that you must identify yourself with. And then we make sure that you go through a small Lanyana test to see that you know what you were doing, and you know why you are here and what is expected from you. Because I think also catering is a very undermined business, that people, when they come in, they just think they are here, we're just cooking and that's it.
Yeah.
There's a bigger picture. I mean, catering, there is things like airport catering. It makes proper profits and stuff like that.
Mm.
There is contract catering. People just see you cook and they just think that's the end of it. And once people get into operations of the business, they understand. That's where you understand, wow, this is a whole system running here.
Yeah.
Catering is broad, and I think one thing that the biggest mistake that we make as entrepreneurs is that we don't speak to our employees about where we are heading, and what's happening with the business. We just let them work, but
Yeah.
we don't tell them that, you know what, these are our values. This is where we're heading. So you need to channel yourself towards this, and this is how the company will grow. You understand? Yeah.
Oh, very important.
Very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
And with that said, what is, if I had to ask you one advice to advise your younger self, what will that advice be? Because there's a younger Buhle trying to start out, you know?
A younger me, be
Yeah.
more patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with growth. I think, yeah, be patient with yourself. Be patient with growth. Not everybody, and not everything that glitters is gold or
Yeah.
diamonds. I think, yeah, that.
With that said, because it looks like gold from outside. Entrepreneurship looks like gold.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with the nights where you can't sleep because there's so much, there's cash flow issues? How do you keep yourself positive? How do you make sure that tomorrow you face the day is a brand new day?
I make a plan, and one thing that I've learned in entrepreneurship is to be okay. Don't try. Today you might have a success, land a contract or something, and the next day you might need cash for that.
Mm.
So when people see the success, also be okay to go to your friends or your colleagues, your fellow entrepreneurs, and be like, yes, I've got this, but I don't have the money. It's okay to say you don't have the money for this. It's okay to say you are struggling financially for A, B, and C. I think that's the biggest thing, that to be honest, you don't have to prove to anyone that you are successful.
Yeah.
I think literally just being honest about everything.
No, cool stuff. So, how do you now, I think it's also vital to empower your mind as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur. How do you keep your mind fresh? How do you ensure that personal development, do you read, or how do you ensure that ready to face the day? And I'm asking that because as an entrepreneur, you wear different heads.
Yes,
You are
yes.
marketing head, you are
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
you are that, you are that. So how do you make sure that on top of things and making the right decisions all the time in different departments in your business?
I think first thing first, you need your mind is very, you see here, positive thinking is the most important thing ever. Not allowing any negative energy or negativity around you to dictate the character that you're going to be throughout the day. Um, Having your goal in your head when you wake up, when you step out of the door, you know that I'm building this. You know, I want this to be listed. I want this to happen. And the courage that makes me, or that makes that possible for me, beside the positive attitude that I have towards life and all, I'm a very positive person in general. Like, my glass is always half full, not half empty. I see life that way.
Yeah.
um Balance, I make sure that I exercise. Okay, I don't really get time for the gym, but jogging, hiking, those are my two core exercises. And I read a lot to empower myself. But I just surround myself with positive energy, positive people, happy people, and people that are always optimistic about life, I think. Yeah.
Oh, nice one, nice one. So how do you advertise your business? How do you make sure that, and how did you even get lend your first client? Let's start there. How did you lend your first client?
What happened?
Do you even remember who was your
I
first client?
do. Let me see. I actually do. I actually do. This is a funny story. I think everybody needs to hear this. Same client that funded me. So if there's one thing I've been very good with is marketing, digital marketing. So with NYDA, I got the. This is a funny story. I don't really tell this story. It's so funny. So I got the funding, but then they're like, oh, we can also help you with branding. And I'm like, great. But like, we can't print, but we can do your digital work. And I'm like, great. And I had these ideas in my head. So I created a proper business profile, menus, everything, you name it, net. But now while we're on it, and then now I think it was 500 people. I'm not sure, but I think it was 500 people where the invoice was 100,000. I will not forget the story. I got excited. I've never seen such kind of money. I am still a student. And I am like, what is this? And first of all, I don't have money. There's the purchase order. I'm like, I don't have money. First person I go to is my dad. My dad gives me a portion of the money, right? He's like, make a plan. Okay. The second person I go to is my cousin who just got a job. Tato. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassing you. Tato. And I'm like, dude, I need money. She's like, but you know how much I earn. I cannot afford this. And I'm like, ah. She's like, you know what? Let's go to pt1. We're going to make a loan. But I have money. We went to pt1 and then she got the money, within a couple of hours, the money was in, and then I went to another cousin for money and he also sorted me out. But now the money is there. Now we've got an issue of I don't have stoves, I don't have pots, I don't have anything, right? Because I mean, I need to cook for 500 people. I don't have anything, right? And I'm like, okay, what's the plan now? I start calling my aunts, my dad's sisters, and I'm like, guys, so this crazy idea of mine, not crazy, but I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to be a boss. I'm going to be a boss, and I just got my first order. So we're looking at they all hear 100K. They're like, no, what do you need? I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, now stuff for Selasa House of Society, bring it here, you know. And I call the other one. I'm like, your pots, bring them here, And I go borrow a gas cylinder somewhere because stuff for Society doesn't come with a gas cylinder. Gas cylinder stays go hasman man, right? So eventually we gather things around. The funny part was they wanted grilled chicken. By then, remember, I'm a novice in this thing. I have the idea. I don't have the practical experience. I also don't have the the knowledge. I just have this crazy idea that I can cook, right? So, in any case, okay, we get the gas stove, we get the pots, we get everything, and I decide on two small braai stands that we found at my aunt's place. So, okay, another problem. This thing is in Mami Lodi, and I'm borrowing things that are fine. I'm scroll coming back with them. I'm looking at the time. It's not gonna work out. So, planning. Let's all go to Hammerskral. I call all my aunts, guys. We're gonna get it together. We're begging this 100K. We're gonna cook the whole night. You know, and there's certain things that you learn in professional food making that I've made so much mistakes in one day, especially like prepping the food, prepping, I mean, the spinach, how to prep. We took forever, hours. Right now, I will prep you spinach for 1,000 people within 30 minutes or an hour at most, right? Because there's techniques that you learn. Anyway, that day we worked from the day before 6 o'clock to the next day afternoon. So eventually the aunts gathered, we cooked that braai stand, just one chicken, 2 hours for it to be fine. Okay, let's get now. It's morning. We need to take the first batch. I still call another cousin. Hey, when I know you're knocking off from night shift, come with your van. Must deliver the food. He's like, okay, I'll nap when I do the first batch. Me now on my way there. By then, I'm having a second-hand car that I got from home from my dad. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3 is not working. 4, 5. That day, that car said, halfway to Mami Lodi to deliver my first batch, is like, sorry, Sisi. Today I'm not agreeing with you. Okay. The guy's like, it's not agreeing with me. I'm stuck on the highway. I'm with my cousin, the one who borrowed the 10K, by the way.
At least he's there to see the money.
She's worried about it. She just started working. Now she's worried about her
She's
10K.
seeing her money through.
It's like, yo, things we do for our family members. Any case, I start hiking highway. I'm like stopping van. Like I need a lift. This old man, God bless his soul, I can't remember his name. He agreed that he will pull my car and then put the food inside his van and then pull my car to Mami Lodi. There we are, deliver the first batch was fine, right, in terms of quality, because the first batch it was ready. The rest of the orders, my cousin gets there, drives second batch. I don't know how many batches we're supposed to do, but he drives Pancha. He's late. He doesn't have a spanner for the. You know what? It was just a disaster. Okay, he's late. I'm just like, can we come? I talked to Mudala. Mudala is just now getting irritated. He's just giving me ridiculous prices to go and rescue my cousin.
Yeah.
Because now he needs to go on the other way and come back, and it's just not. Mudala is like,
Not
you know what,
working.
you know what, baby girl, I understand you hustling. Now I'm on the hustle. I think he was on his way to hustle, and then he found hustle in the middle of the road. And the long and short of it, it was such a disaster that people ate late. I think the last batch was there 4 p.m. in the afternoon. The client was very unhappy because the service delivered in what was advertised two different stories, right? And the client was so unhappy. The names that were I was called on the day. I mean, you must remember this is government, and those people are when they want service, right? Story for another day, but they were not happy, right? And I just wanted to crush. And one guy came to me and he saw me that I'm just breaking down. He saw me that I'm just trying to be strong, but wherever I'm gonna get a moment, I'll break down. And he was like, you know what? My first project or one of his projects, he had to fly people to Cape Town, and it was such a disaster. And on that day, he had to make a choice whether he's gonna continue or not. But the fighting spirit in him said, you know what, try again. And he said to me that this shouldn't be a definition of I'm a failure or whatever.
Yeah.
I was trying something, and I did not look into everything else that's needed for that job. And it's okay sometimes to fail, though I'm failing at this higher rate, but it's just showing me how great my future is, and the the entrepreneur spirit that I have in me. I mean, the drive that I can convince people to give me such a job. Not even they didn't even know it's my first job. And he's like, I don't know how you convince them, because they would prefer somebody with experience for this kind of job. But the fact that you did it, that thing in you, if you've got nothing left, but
Yeah.
just think of that thing in you that made these people to give you this order.
Yeah.
And I carried that, and it was such a terrible day. It was horrible. Luckily, I got paid on time, and everybody was paid back. But that day, I think, because it was towards the end of the year, I think it was November. The following year, I had a better plan. I went for short courses in
So
the
what did you do with the
hospitality.
profit from
I went to Cape Town. That one we ate. Never do it. That one I ate. I needed to do. I needed to heal, and I was very young. I think I was 23.
there? Yeah.
Very young. 22, 23. So yeah, I was very young, and yeah, the first money I boxed, but after that, I started having better strategies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So currently, do you have any challenges from suppliers, and how do you deal with them? Because I realize that we are slowly building a bad reputation from black suppliers to say, you
Mm.
don't supply the correct things, or integrity has been questioned a lot. So how do you deal with such challenges from the supplier side?
Supplier side, when it comes to suppliers, I've got both black businesses and bigger businesses that are supplying me. With the black